Hey, it's your boy, Michael Kosta, Thursday, December 18th. This is the Tennis Anyone podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for leaving ratings. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Thank you for supporting my stand-up comedy and live events or on YouTube. Thank you for reading or listening to my audiobook, Lucky Loser, which is printed and in bookstores everywhere. My rise to tennis failure. I sound like shit. This is the first day I could record. I'd like to get things out Monday or Tuesday. That was not happening this week. The whole family's sick. Everybody's sick. Kids, wife, piano teacher, me, them, you, your fault, our fault. Is it COVID? Is it flu? Is it a cold? Nobody knows. It's constant stress. We don't know what's happening anymore. Hurricanes in Jamaica, war in Russia, authoritarian rule, demolishing the East Wing. What is cable anyways? Live events are down. Stand-up comedy's never been more important. More people than ever are watching The Daily Show. Nobody knows how to make money in television. We've never had further advances in science and technology. AI sucks, is going to steal all our jobs and is actually evil. Total tech nerd losers are somehow popular and just want to be loved. They can never make enough money. What did Samantha Bee say on her podcast? What's the point of having fuck you money if you never say fuck you? Why do these nerds need more money? You won. You beat the jocks. Never in the history of jocks has someone had a $1 trillion pay package. I mean, probably Michael Jordan is the richest athlete of all time. Uh-oh, got to Google it. You won, nerds. You won. Now can you make the world better? Richest athlete ever. Michael Jordan. With inflation-adjusted career earnings estimated around $4.1 billion, largely. So Michael Jordan and Elon made $30 billion last year. Elon Musk pay last year. Hard to say because it's all, stocks, blah, blah, blah. Billions. You won, nerds. Hey, nerds, you won. Isn't it crazy that the guys who got locked in the locker by the jocks are now flying to space, changing the world, more money than we can even consider? When do you say that is enough money? Now let's make the world better. When do you do that? There's nothing grosser than when they stand in the Oval Office and present Trump with gifts or go to the inauguration. It's like, what's the point of having fuck you money if you never say fuck that? I don't have to do that. How we doing? Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Let's start with this. Thank you to Marissa on my Instagram who sent this to me. I never would have seen it. I don't follow Lifetime TV, but enjoy this new movie. Here's the trailer. Just listen.
Pickleballers have convened for the biggest Christmas Day tournament.
People actually watch pickleball?
It's the fastest growing sport in America. They want to see a big-time tennis player actually playing this new sport.
This is a serious tournament with serious players. You have to get good enough to win the money.
I'm a tennis player. I probably don't need your coaching.
Sure about that?
When was the last time you went on a date?
He is not my type.
Smoking hot?
I'm your coach, so we should probably establish some boundaries.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to get unprofessional.
I know pickleball is silly, but it's given me community and friends.
I'm really glad you found it.
Paddles up. How am I not in this
to
movie?
Pickleball Christmas.
A pickleball
Premieres
Christmas.
Saturday, December 20th at 8. Part of It's a Wonderful Lifetime.
I mean, what do we expect? A pickleball Christmas, fastest growing sport in America. Good job. I'm never mad at anybody who creates anything. I'm never mad at Jeff Lafferty or Zibby Allen, the actors. I'm mad that my agent doesn't put me in this shit. Why am I not the TV commentator? And, you know, the beauty of these Hallmark Lifetime movies is they do them quick. They write them quick. They shoot them quick. And they can be more fluid and tied to our societal trends. Look, Comedy Central, a channel that I'm on, used to make movies like this that were fun and funnier, but tied quickly to the trends or whatever. It would have been fun. I mean, we just did one with The Daily Show with our 5th holiday movie trailer. Why not actually make the fucking movie? It's funny. Grok is like my best friend because there's a male friendship recession and he keeps spewing all this anti-Semitic stuff and it's funny. Big time tennis player going to pickleball and hitting the forehand in the net is unlikely, especially with the wrong grip. They're all, by the way, hold the racket like this when you're serving. Okay? And everyone who's crappy at tennis holds it like that. Hire me as a grip consultant. You lose credibility so quickly with the wrong grip. Anyways, thank you, Marissa, for sending that to me. She said, I saw this and immediately thought of you. Enjoy. And I wrote, oh my God, stop. Too awful. And then she wrote, wishing you and yours a very pickleball Christmas. I love Tennis Anyone listeners. Again, not mad, funny, happy, a little bit mad, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Enjoy that. That'll be out on Lifetime. I will watch it. Send me the clips. Let me tell you this. No one's making shit. No one in LA is making shit. Everyone keeps texting me, can I get a job? Everyone, funny people, men, women, old, young, everyone's looking for work. So if a pickleball Christmas comes along, you take it. And let me tell you this about Zibby Allen. When they close up on her and she's in the gown, she looks like a beautiful, hardworking actress. And let me tell you this about Jeffrey. What's his name? Sorry, Jeff. Seems like a really capable, good, hardworking, fit actor with nice leg muscles. There's a lot of hilarious, funny, talented people out there. Support him. So anyways, also Next Gen is going on right now. I have a tennis podcast, kind of, sort of. I should know who these people are. I don't. There's an American, Basavaretti, who's 99 in the world. I'm a bad person. I didn't know that. I know Lerner Teen. He's the number 1 seed. We got Prismic from Czech. We got Block from Belgium. We got Budkov Kier. We got Engel from Germany. And we got Jodar from Spain. Probably screwed up all their names. My apologies. They're playing in Saudi Arabia right now. Why are they playing right now when they should be taking a break? Probably because participation fee, $155,000. You win one match, you get 40 grand. Semifinal win, you get 115 grand. You win in the finals, another 150. You go undefeated, you make $500,000. I know Jim Courier said this on Tennis Channel, but he's like, skip this, guys. Skip it. Go home, relax, get your game better. It's not worth the payday, but they got to decide what's important to them. I am turning up my headphones. So, yeah, you know, it's fun to turn on Tennis Channel and to see live tennis. But again, I would almost advise the Tennis Channel to go dark for 3 weeks, just so we're itching. We're itching for it. I was in Buffalo this weekend and Ithaca. Thank you, Lee Nickel, head coach at Buffalo men's team, for hooking me up with a hit. I went to the Buffalo Tennis and Squash Club. I'm going to post pictures. Just so cool. Middle of Buffalo. Never would have known it was there. 2 courts, 2 or 3 squash courts. Cool hang spot. Nice locker rooms, men's and women's. Supposedly there's a sauna and a steam, which I didn't take. Dumbass. You know, they got They got a big bar with a huge fireplace. They got this nice lounge overlooking the main indoor court. Just awesome. Just awesome. Supposedly 120 members. Makes you just appreciate the historical context for the sport that we have. Unlike pickleball, the fastest growing sport in America. No, it's just really, really classy, great sport. People of all ages were out there playing. I won a baseline game against them. No big deal. I lost so hard. I lost like 80% of the points, but I did win one. And when I did win one, I'm this guy. I went to the other court where there was 4 women playing, and I said, just so you know, I just won. There's Bill Tilden won the club tournament in 1923. Peter Fleming has his name etched in gold. It's just a really classy joint that I never would have known about if it weren't for Tennis Anyone listeners, if it weren't for Lee, who reached out, because when I coached at Michigan, he was coaching at Alabama. Alabama came up to Michigan. We competed against each other. I believe Michigan won. I don't remember that match entirely. But it's such a small world, tennis, and I'm so thankful and appreciative that you guys reach out. I got to get a hit on Saturday morning when I was about to drive down to Ithaca, do my show. So it's really, really fun for me to bring the rackets. All week, I'm looking forward to the hit. And, it's just, again, it's part of the thing that sucks about living in New York City. You don't get to hit that much. So when I know what's coming up, I get excited. I pack the rackets. And also what I love is I love seeing new clubs. And it reminded me, I told this story to these guys. I played a future in Buffalo many times, and I believe I lost to Casey Corkery, Michael Kosta versus, how do I spell his name? Casey Corkery, Buffalo. Is it going to show up? What happens now when I Google myself is all the tennis stuff. AI says, this is likely a reference to his Tennis Anyone podcast. Incorrect, you big dumbass. I played him. You know where it'll be? I retired. This is nowhere to be found. Let me say Steve G Tennis. It's not showing up. Maybe it wasn't against KC. I thought it was. I was in the round of 16 or the quarterfinals of a 10,000 clay court future in Buffalo in a suburb called Amherst. Is that right? Staying with this nice family that I've stayed with many times. And I was playing great tennis, and I sprained my ankle very, very badly in the match. Had to retire. This should be a Hallmark movie. Somehow a young woman who worked at the club, who was affiliated with the tournament, but it was mostly volunteers, took me to the emergency room. I remember crying on the court. I was in the quarters, I think. So I was playing well. This was like a good chance for me. Very rarely are you playing great tennis. It's usually like you're figuring out ways to win, or you're playing shitty tennis and depressed. I was playing great tennis. I was playing outside. I was beating a lot of players. Sprained my ankle badly. I blame the court surface. And if I remember correctly, it was a young woman, like my age, 25, 26, whatever it was, took me to the emergency room, blonde, pretty girl, and we were hanging out there for a while before I saw the doctor. I think this is right. Stories like this are in my book, by the way. And that was it. And then I had, crutches and all that. And I'm now, as a comedian, I'm thinking like, ooh, retired tennis player sprains ankle, tournament volunteer, takes him to the emergency room. A year later, he was banned for substance abuse. I should have done this search before. How was this not? Michael Kosta versus, maybe it wasn't Casey Corkery. It was in Amherst, I believe. Amherst. It's not showing up. It's only comedy. It's only comedy tour. Tennis. AI doesn't know what to fucking do. This is what I hate about AI. It only pulls from like recent It can't really get this result for me. Anyways, I'm not doing this shit right now. Anyways, that was a great memory I have from Buffalo. Actually, it's a bad memory, but it was a fun memory to realize how good tennis I was playing at that point in my career, and then I fucked it up through an injury. All right. Fun. Thank you, Buffalo. Thank you, Lee, for that. I'm loving this book so much. This is another Ryan Holiday suggestion. This is Ghostwriter by Neil Peart, a drummer from Rush, who tragically loses his daughter and his wife within a year, separate incidents. And he gets on his motorcycle and he drives from eastern Canada all the way across the country, south through western United States, down through Baja, California, which is a Mexican state, that little peninsula, takes a ferry over to mainland Mexico and Belize, and eventually gets back to Mexico City and flies home, just dumps the bike at a dealership. Talk about picking up the pieces. Talk about, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to move and I'm going to go. And it's a beautiful book. It's sad. It's inspiring. I love this book. It was published 20 years ago. I mean, this is what's so fun about books. It was first published in 2002. And he's written a lot of other books too. He bicycled through 11 different countries in Africa. So I just really appreciate it. And just know if you're going through something difficult, if you've gone through loss, if you're grieving, there are healthy things you can do. They're not easy. It's not going to change events, but it can help you digest and move forward. And as he says in there, just go where the front of the wheel takes you. And I love the book, and I think it's a good reminder to all of us. And by the way, there's a part of me that's reading this book hoping I'm not learning from it because someday I'm going to be faced with a tragedy. I don't want to be. I don't want to be faced with what he faced, but I think it's also helpful to just remember that there's so many different types of people in so many different situations all the time. I mean, there are people in the book, he said, that would say to him while he's riding his bicycle alone, like, hey, where's your wife? And we always assume people have a mom or a wife or where's your family? And it's like, he's not going to tell a stranger what happened, but just to be more open and empathetic to others, because you just don't know. And also, the world is a beautiful place. The world is a beautiful place. I'm sorry, Walter. Is this boring you? Where's he going? He's had it. He'll probably come back. Sometimes he hears someone at the front door or something. What if there's just a robber behind me with like the mask? So enjoying that book very much. It's called Ghostwriter. It's by Neil Peart. I keep saying his name wrong. Since I've been reading books, a new probably really what jump-started this was starting to host The Daily Show. And you get these books and you want to read them for your guest, and sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. I would say 95% of the time I can't read, or excuse me, I read the book. I finish the book. That's one thing that's nice about rotating hosts, is that you actually have time on your off weeks to read the books if you know who the guest is going to be. Sometimes you don't know till a couple days before, and it's tough. But I would say scrolling all the time, instantaneous feedback loop, is hurting my memory. I've told a lot of people this. A lot of people say, oh no, you're getting older. And I say, okay, possible. Now I can say definitively, I have removed the phone from my bedroom entirely, except for right now. I am on the phone a lot less. I try to keep it in one location in my home, so if I want to use it, I go to that location as opposed to carrying it with me at all times. Which, by the way, also means it's listening to me less, which means it's giving me less of what I want, which is good. and I'm reading longer form books. Now, I will say this. I don't know the science on this. I read a lot of articles, and I would read a lot of short magazines about news, politics. Something about the long book is helping my memory. Just last week, I had posted my set from Nice Try, 40 minutes of improvised and new material. I had posted it, so I was checking my phone a lot that day, seeing if the post went up right, seeing what the comments were, seeing how it was playing. I noticed that day I hadn't been on the phone, hadn't been doing the instantaneous feedback loop, small screen, close quarters. That day I was walking down the street and I was forgetting my thought. Hey, I should write this down. Well, what was that thing? And I said, holy shit, maybe that's it. I've been on my phone a lot today and it's fucking up my memory. And when I'm off the phone and I'm reading long form books, the New Yorker articles are long. I don't know if it's the same. Something about reading a book is helping my memory. Pay attention to that, ladies and gentlemen. I hope it's definitely an argument for books. Even when I go to the New York Times or Wall Street Journal or The Week, you're hit with ads. You're hit with things. Your brain is going, what's that? 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 But when I read a book, it's going, this is that. And you're reading it. We're going to learn. We're going to figure it out. My throat's all fucked up. All right. All right. So I don't love when a person quotes themselves, but I did an interview at the Daily Show with a legendary climate paleontologist. Is that what he's called? And I need to mention this. Paleoclimatologist. This man is almost 80. His name is Lonnie Thompson. He works at The Ohio State University. And he studied ice for his whole life. He would go up to these glaciers and he would drill these ice cores that look like long tubes of ice. And just like a tree, each year you can see the ring. You can see so much about each year: climate, gas, water, rainfall, volcanic eruption. And I just want to showcase his work. I'm really, really proud that science creates these people. They're trying to help us and solve the world. We are making it as hard as we can on them. But this is Lonnie Thompson. The interview's on YouTube. And the movie that showcases him is called Canary. And the production house that made it put it back on YouTube for free for everyone for 2 weeks. There's about 1 week left now, so people can watch it during the holidays with their families. So part of what I'm trying to do here is showcase Lonnie Thompson, but I'm also trying to showcase the movie. It's called Canary, kind of like Canary in a Coal Mine, which, by the way, they used to actually do. That's where the saying comes from. If you were mining coal, you would bring a canary with you into the coal mine. And as long as it was singing, you were good. There was enough airflow and oxygen flow. But if the canary died, you knew you had to get out of there quickly. What the fuck? So I'm going to play a couple clips. The first one is just about what he does in the ice cores. And again, the movie is available on YouTube. It's called Canary. The same guys that did Chef's Table, they were like, hey, this is doing wonders, working wonders for chefs. But why don't we showcase scientists? Shit, fuck yeah, bro. Hit me with it. We need to make these men and women our heroes, not fill in the blank. All right. So I'm going to start the question and then just listen to Lonnie. He's a pimp. In the tropical regions, glaciers.
That's right.
Is that right?
You got it.
What is an ice core? Look, Lonnie, I know. They don't know.
Right.
What's an ice core?
An ice core is a cylinder of ice They're about 4 inches in diameter.
Yep.
And we drill them. We use a drill just like you would drilling for oil. You go down, you bring up a core, and you can drill 100 and 200 feet, or you can drill 3 miles in Antarctica, where we have lots of ice.
So what does that cylinder tell you?
Ice is amazing. I can say that.
Is it?
I've spent my life studying this stuff. Ice tells us not just climate, things like temperature from the isotopes in the ice, and precipitation by the annual layer thickness. It also tells us.
Today I want to talk helmets.
Oh my God.
When you go online, there's generally 2 types of helmets. You have your regular
volcanic eruptions, things that can change climate. We can look at changes in the output of the sun through cosmogenic nuclides.
Meaning in those years. So you can go all the way down to this glacier and know what it was like 1,000 years ago.
We have records from Antarctica that go back over 800,000.
Get the out of here. Right?
Yeah. And
what did you guys do at your job today, huh? Fill out a little Microsoft Excel sheet? So we know the temperature. We know if it rained that year.
And we also know the composition of the atmosphere and the bubbles trapped in the ice.
Wow.
So we can look at CO2 and methane, those things we're concerned about today.
Okay.
What's the natural? And where are we today?
Right. So they can look at the isotopes and the bubbles in each layer of the ice to know what patterns are forming. So then we know what's unnatural and where are we at today. And that's, there's the movie's great. Make sure you watch it. But a lot's unnatural about today. What we are emitting is causing the glaciers to melt, and we're losing our record of the past, which is important because it tells us where we're supposed to be today. I just thought he was really cool. I asked him at the very end why science was important to him. And I just want you to hear it too. I think it's a good, motivating story. Here we go. Yeah, and we're all going to be affected. Yes.
We're all going to be affected.
As someone who's devoted your life to science, and I love the movie Canary. Please watch it. It's great. You can watch it all ages. It's great to watch it with kids because they're going to go, "What's that? That's a drill. You should be a scientist." Why is science important to you? What does it mean to you, science? I know it's a broad question, but I thought you'd have a thought.
Well, I think science, you look at our history. You look at our vaccines for polio. You look at our Webb telescope. We can see galaxies outside of our galaxy. Science allows us to see the future. It gives us hope for the future, that we can make a difference. We can change things.
Yeah.
We just have to go after it. You don't know what's possible until you try. And if we try, we advance. And we've made tremendous advances in science, and it's good for all of humanity.
Yeah. Is that what you told the helicopter? And I ruined it by saying a joke. But you love that. You don't know till you try. And when we try, we advance. So, and it gives us hope for the future. It does. We talked about it in the interview. Hey, we got us into this mess, climate change. In theory, if we remain optimistic and hopeful, we can get us out. Thank you, Lonnie Thompson. Go watch Canary. It's a great one. I thought, Trump spoke to the American people last night. It's filled with lies. I just Googled fact check Trump speech. There's a lot of different. I usually go to factcheck.org, but it wasn't up yet. They were too busy fact checking his economic speech in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to read this whole thing. I just want you to check, just to understand, recognize what's out there and what's happening. This is CNN, and they have fact checked Trump's 18-minute speech last night, which wasn't long. And it's just important to understand how many lies, disinformation, which I believe is information being the wrong information purposely being told to us, as opposed to misinformation, which is when your uncle sends you the link and has good intentions, whatever, and it's wrong. This is by the President of the United States. It is wrong information purposely being sent to us. So the lies and the disinformation, that's just in a simple speech, 18-minute speech. And every president lies, and every president has done mis and disinformation, but no one has done it at this level. And it's important to understand that so we don't elect him again, even though we can't, but he's going to try. Near the end of his speech, Trump falsely claimed inflation is stopped. Inflation hasn't stopped. The year-over-year inflation rate in September, 3%, was the same as the rate when Trump returned to office in January. Inflation under Biden. Trump repeated his false claim that when I took office, inflation was the worst in 48 years, and some would say the history of our country, end quote. He does the some would say. Here's the fact check. The year-over-year inflation rate in the last full month of the Biden administration was 2.9%. It was 3% in January 2025, the month of Trump's second inauguration. What Trump is referring to is at one point, it is true that year-over-year U.S. inflation hit about a 40-year high, not 48, 40-year high during the Biden administration in June 2022 at 9%. But that was not as close as the all-time record of 23.7% set in 1920. And inflation had plummeted from that 9% before Trump's inauguration. All right, grocery prices. That's just gone up. He lied a lot about that. Drug prices. Trump repeated, this is great. Trump repeated his false claim that an executive order he issued on prescription drug prices will cut those prices by, quote, as much as 400, 500, and even 600%, end quote. These figures are mathematically impossible. If the president magically got the companies to reduce the prices of all their drugs to zero, that would be a 100% cut. Lies about gas. It goes on and on and on. Trump repeated his false claim that he's ended 8 wars this year, and it tells you all of that and how basically, everything has got like the tiniest sliverest of truth, but the exaggeration and the lies is just so much. Like Ethiopia and Egypt have calmed down their rhetoric over this Ethiopian dam project. There wasn't a war. There never was a war. So it's not like he fixed a war, but there is a sliver there. So you got to know that. Anyways, I'm not going to read this to you. I sometimes check it. It starts to make me very depressed. But I just need people to know and be aware. Check it. Go to factcheck.org. Don't believe what he says. No one has ever lied as much. Look at what he's done with the plaques in the White House. It's utterly mean and wrong and authoritarian. It's what dictators do. They put their names in everything. It's literally what Kim Jong-il did. Read his obituary, which is hard to read. I think I've done that before. Anyways, I'm not going to harp on it. Just question the president at all times. Some people are going to get mad at what I'm about to do. I am going to play you an AOC clip. I really like what she says. And then I'm going to finish with quoting my boss, Jon Stewart. I don't even follow AOC. This came across my feed, and I just like what she's saying. I think it's really smart. I think the only thing Trump and his administration respond to is strength. And they rely on us to become tired and complacent and not want to fight back. And what she says is great. Take a listen. You don't have to support AOC. You don't have to vote for her if you don't want to. But I just think if I didn't even know who she was and I heard this, I would say this is a smart person who understands shit.
That are happening at once. And this is something that's very important for people to understand. One, there absolutely is an unprecedented abuse of power, destruction of norms, erosion of our government and our democracy in order to prop up an authoritarian style of governance. That is happening. However, They are weaker than they look. And it is important that we remember that, because what they rely on is the impression of power, the perception of inevitability, in us giving up in advance to say, oh, what's going to happen if I stand up, etc. Nothing's going to happen. They rely on that perception of inevitability and power so that people comply in advance and acquiesce in advance and give up in advance. And at the end of the day, Donald Trump is at record levels of unpopularity in his tenure. The Republican House is at record levels of unpopularity. They are underwater across the board, and they know it. And that is causing them to double down in public, but it is backfiring. That is why, whether it's a shutdown, whether it's all of this, they want us to blink first. And we have too much to save. Protecting people is too important a task for us to give up before anything even starts. I think,
you know, the Republicans just are so good at that campaign. They tickle those ideological culture war-ish topics, and they keep winning elections, but they're not good at the fucking government. My God. I just thought that was really good. Thank you, AOC. And I think Jon Stewart's brilliant. And I just think this is how a lot of us are feeling. And he starts by saying, I might be naive. And we might be naive. I hope not. But I think what AOC just said, mixed with what Jon Stewart's about to say, if we mix those two together, if we remain optimistic and hopeful, but also know we have to fight and push, that's the recipe.
Maybe I'm insane, but I remain optimistic. I honestly think the despicable nature of this administration is the effect that it's having on those two. That is not the effect that it has on political operatives. That is the effect that it has on human beings that don't want to live in this acid-based. This is not like it's Mars. We don't want to have to wear spacesuits to breathe freely amongst our people.
Yeah, people are sick of the shit, I think.
Sick of this shit. And they're starting to realize he's the band leader. Trump is the band leader. Shit. Optimism.
There you go. We did it.
And it's the end of the year. Obviously, we want to give our...
I hope that's right. Let's remain optimistic, and let's remain also vigilant. And yeah, tricky. I was going to get into to the Battle of the Sexes December 28th against Nick Kyrgios and Aryna Sabalenka. There's been a lot of pushback on it because Nick gets one serve, Sabalenka gets 9% more court, or Nick gets 9% less court. I'm not sure how that works. And there's been a lot of pushback saying it's bad for women. I don't know. I guess I'm I don't think it's a good look. It's like, is it good for women? Is it good for men? I don't know. There are differences in the sport. Speed, power, length of the match. And it just gets right into this whole gender awareness that we have now. Don't forget, in the 70s, there was a professional tennis player named Renee Richards, who was born a man. Can you even say this now? I don't know what I'm saying. Formerly Richard Raskin, born in 1934. Is an American ophthalmologist and former tennis player who competed on the professional circuit in the 1970s and became widely known following male-to-female medical affirmation when she fought to compete as a woman in the 1976 U.S. Open. So, this is at the core and the heart of our culture and nation and sport. Battle of the Sexes. which I remember Battle of the Sexes. I mean, if you just said Battle of the Sexes to me, I would say Billie Jean King beats Bobby Riggs. 1970. No. 80? 84? Let's say 84. Battle of the Sexes. 1973. My bad. Battle of the Sexes describes. Okay, so there was a few of these. There was Battle of the Sexes 1. This is what I was hoping to get to. Battle of the Sexes 1 was in 1973, May 13th. Bobby Riggs beat Margaret Court 2-1 badly. Then, 4 months later, in Houston at the Astrodome, 90 million TV viewers watched Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs 4-3 and 3 straight sets. Jimmy Connors then beat Martina Navratilova. I remember watching that as a kid. 1992, he beat her 5-2. She had more of a court, and I think he only had one serve. Riggs had, I remember when Bobby Riggs lost to Billie Jean King, it was, some people thought he threw it. He was seen as an old man. What's interesting to me about that is he beat Margaret Court 4 months prior, and I don't know much about that. Let's read it. Riggs had been one of the world's top tennis players in the 1940s, and he was ranked year-end number 1 and 3 times and won 6 major titles during his career, right? After he retired from professional tennis in 1951. That is one thing that, that people forget. He had retired from professional tennis in 1951. And Billie Jean King played Bobby Riggs in 1973. But first he beat Margaret Court in 1973. In 1973, he opined that the female game was inferior and that even at his current age of 55, he could still beat any of the top female players. He first challenged Billie Jean King, but when she declined, Margaret Court stepped in, accepting the guarantee of $20,000, more than she had earned for winning both the 1973 Australian and French women. At the time, okay, this is what I wanted to know. At the time, Court was 30 years old and had recently returned to tennis after giving birth to her first child in 1973. She was in the midst of her earning her 7th year-end ranking at number 1. Okay, so she was going to be number 1 in the world. Wow. Wow. Anyways, that's probably another conversation another time. But Nick Kyrgios versus Aryna Sabalenka, two great entertaining players. I would just put so much money that Nick Kyrgios will win this, but I also wonder if this is not beneficial for the women's sport at all. But I don't know. Because is it good for the sport? If people are watching the sport, sure. But then also my daughter's going to watch the sport and say, why is he only get 1 serve and she gets 2? Also, as far as I know, no one's going to watch this thing. It's in UAE, and I haven't seen very little publicity on it. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Tennis Anyone podcast. Thank you for watching on YouTube and listening. Walter's gone. He did not like this episode at all. I will be in Shirley, Mass. and Providence, Rhode Island. I will be stopping in the International Tennis Hall of Fame at some point. That'll be January 14, 15, something like that. It's on my site, michaelcosta.com/tickets. Please check out Lucky Loser. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting Game, Set, Match. Kosta.